happens, yeah.
It does happen, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Especially when you don't have an eye for it. I'll start, and then we'll take questions from Led, and then the rest of the gang. A workmanlike day today. I came in at halftime and just was communicating to teammates that it felt like a game we were going to have to grind out. They were going to make us earn, every play, every yard, and it felt that way, especially through the late in the third and into the fourth. I thought that teammates stepped up, especially in Drake's absence. Kadero Hodge stepping up. Mooney made some big plays for us. Bijan Robinson showed up in the run game, pass game quite a bit. Tyler Algier's touchdown run was phenomenal. It's more of the same from him. Had a lot of great protection, a lot of time on the touchdown to Ray. It's so fun to be a progression passer and have an offensive line that really gives you the time to tick through. Great job there, and unbelievable catch by Drake on the touchdown. That's really what he does, among other things, so well, is that jump ball, high point, contested catch, strong hands. Love playing with a guy like that, being able to just put the ball up for him and let him go get it. And I told him we really haven't had enough plays like that this year. I told him earlier this week when we were meeting. And so it's fun to see that come alive in the game for a touchdown. And, now we just got to keep building, keep stacking, and always good to drive home now after a win. But I can take any questions, yeah.
Kirk, could you discuss the overall efficiency of the offense and the importance of that drive to start the second half? After the 3-and-out, you all were able to go down and get a score there.
I think that was an important drive to answer. I thought, both scoring drives in the second half felt like, really important drives and plays. And, being 2 for 2 on fourth down, I go back several games. Our fourth down plays have continued to make a major difference in our offensive production. There's plenty there to clean up. 4 for 13 on third down is not what we want. So there's still a lot there that you felt like, wasn't as sharp as we are capable of being.
Kirk, I know you weren't here last year, but there seems to be a palpable shift with this team in the chemistry and the culture. Kaden Ellis called it special. What do you pinpoint that makes this team special sitting where you are right now in the season?
Yeah, I think, whenever you're winning, you certainly feel like the wind's at your back more. And yet it is such a week-to-week league that, I've learned that maybe you have a tough loss and maybe things don't feel as special, if you will. And it's just kind of that week-to-week nature of our league. But I think it starts with Raheem Morris as our head coach, setting the tone each week and allowing guys to feel comfortable to be themselves and to play, with great effort. And then from there, it kind of trickles down to our captains and our locker room. And, we just got to keep challenging each other, keep going out to practice each day with an edge and with an attention to detail, and believe that if you do that, good things will happen on Sundays and the wins will start to stack up.
Kirk, you talked this week about looking for ways to get yourself in sort of that right mindset pregame. I wonder if at any point in your career you use past relationships, I'm thinking of Coach Zimmer today, to sort of drive yourself in that way, to prove yourself. I'm going to show X, Y, and Z, or maybe not exactly that way.
I thought today was unique facing Coach Zim because I did feel like he was doing a good job of keeping us guessing, keeping us kind of, okay, now he's doing this. Oh, wait, they just changed to this. Okay, now he's pressuring, or okay, now he's bluffing. That's why it felt like a grind, was I felt like he had a good plan for us. And then there were a couple times, and just the way he defended us, I thought that was smart. That was a good approach, and I think that's probably why we did have some challenges and some of the drives did stall.
But do you feel any validation for having success against that today?
Well, I think there was positives, but there were also a lot we left out there. And I think when you look at some of the production, like the touchdown to Drake, that's just a kind of a player more than a play, if you will. And the same, with Mooney a little bit on the cover zero, that was kind of a tough look for them. It's a challenging deal, but it was hard earned today. I felt that.
Hey, Kirk. Talk about how big Bijan has been as a receiver.
Yeah.
He didn't score per se, but he had 7 receptions, and that's always.
He's a big deal. It's a big deal. When I got here, I I want him to be a receiver for us. I want him to show up in the pass game. I want to check the ball down to him. I want to put the ball in his hands. And my background would be whether it was Chris Thompson in Washington or Dalvin Cook in Minnesota. I see a running back as a running back, and I also see him as a receiver. And Bijan has a lot of ability catching the football, and I love when he shows up in our pass game too.
This week, you quoted something from Coach Morris, and you said, "Was it a game or was it your game?" So,
right.
What would your answer be to Coach after today's performance?
Well, I think it's something you answer probably more in February, but it was a positive day to come out with a win, and guys made plays. We spread it around again, but there's always going to be things I'm going to nitpick, and we can be better in, and would have loved to have pulled away, but we weren't able to do that as much today. Dallas, stood up tough in the second half and made it hard for us to kind of be able to pull away the way we wanted.
Kirk, when you came here, you sort of talked about this team. Obviously, you did talk about, but they've struggled at the quarterback position the last few years, and I'm sure you saw an opportunity to come here with a lot of weapons. Has this sort of been how you envisioned, when you were laying this out, that how it could work? That if you could come in here and produce, they had the team, and this could turn around here.
Yeah, it's so week to week. Certainly the Pittsburgh game wasn't what I envisioned. The Kansas City game wasn't what I envisioned. The Seattle game wasn't what I envisioned. So it goes both ways. And even in some of our wins, you feel like, there's a lot more that we're capable of. So the challenge as a player in this league is trying to chase a standard that is potentially unrealistic, but you're still going to chase it and demand it. And, it can leave you wanting more when you walk away from each game. But I do believe that when you hold yourself to a high standard, it tends to lead to the best results possible.
Kirk, you talk about that Mooney touchdown. It was a tough look defensively for them with that bunch set. Where was he in your progression on that touchdown?
Yeah, it's a little complicated answer because, with cover zero, you kind of only have time to work one receiver. So I had a decision to make kind of pre-snap as to where to go, and felt like made an educated decision, educated guess that, I think Mooney will be my best option, and Mooney made me right. But, it was a tough pressure look, and we were kind of fortunate there to be able to get a big explosive in a moment like that.
And then how much fun is it for you to be able to divvy the ball up to so many different guys at any moment in the game?
Yeah, you want to be multiple just so the defenses have to honor all five eligibles and have to kind of play you that way, as opposed to leaning towards somebody heavily and making the looks more difficult. But we also feel like there's a lot of people on our offense that can help us, and I think you all know that. But the more we can spread it around, the better.
Kirk, I'm curious, when you have a winning streak like this and you're 6-3 right now, is there a time where you still need to talk to a young team and give a message, versus like when you have a losing streak or you just lost a big one, it's time for a message then. But when you're on a winning streak, is there still time for a message or a need for a message just to keep everybody at ease?
I just think there's a message and a mindset you have to carry in every week. This league will beat you up, and it's so tough. It's such a grind. As one coach used to say to me, he's like, "Hey, we're checking into a miserable hotel, for 6 months. That's the way it is." And so we all need encouragement. We all need motivation. Football's such an emotional game. You have to find that emotion each week, and you can't be waiting on someone else to provide it for you each week. But at the same time, you are aware of the need to make sure our team's in the right mental space and emotional space each week. And sometimes you aren't, and it can lead to poor performances. So as a captain, as captain's leaders, you try to have your pulse on that. And the message can be anything, but you do try to understand what guys need to hear to play at their best that Sunday.
Kirk, you've mentioned week-to-week league and trying to stay focused, but this town, this fan base has been starved for a winner for a long time. Maybe can you sense that through your family connections here and everything of kind of what you're starting to build here? 6-3 is fun for the fan base, Kirk. I know you go week to week, but it's fun for you. Yeah. But can you sense what's building here?
It's. I thought the fan base wise, when you're playing Dallas, you never know, just how much are you going to see Cowboys fans in the crowd. And I thought our fan base really stepped up today to make it a home field advantage for us. The swag surf in the fourth quarter was tremendous. The Nest continues to bring it every week, even during TV timeouts, which is amazing. So, that's what it's all about. I was with a retired quarterback this spring and had recently signed with Atlanta, and he was talking to me, and unsolicited, he said, Kirk, when I was in free agency and I was looking where to go, part of what I thought about was the city you go to if you win. What would that be like in that city? And he said, I look at you in Atlanta and I say, that could be really fun if you win. That could be a really special place to win. And he said, you got to be excited about that. And so I thought that was a good perspective to have, that, this is a city that when you come here and you get the job done, there's a lot to look forward to in terms of what the city, how we can all come together. So you do it 1 week at a time to get there, and, you kind of see where you stand in February. But certainly a big part of playing football, the privilege that it is to play football, to quarterback this team, is to, try to create that community together as we win.
Kirk, you're a year removed from your surgery now. I'm just wondering, where do you think you are with your mobility and your comfort level out there?
Yeah, I think it's been pretty consistent as of late. I don't really think too much about the Achilles as I'm playing. If anything, it's just so sturdy that I really trust it, and so I feel pretty good. I've always kind of been a pocket passer, but today there were a couple times that I wish I had taken off and run. And just as a pocket passer, and I've had this conversation with many of you, that you want to go through your progression, but at the same time you want to take off and run. And there were a couple times today where I thought the better decision would have been to take off and run, and I didn't. And so that was something I want to do differently. But keep learning from each of those plays and try to put that Achilles to work running the football at times.
On the play to Mooney that Marie was talking about, I'm wondering, sort of in layman's terms, what are you using to diagnose where that read needs to be? And at this point in your career, what's your comfort level like that, I'm going to be right? I feel good about this throw, whereas maybe year 3 you were guessing.
No, there's definitely a growth process of learning from past experiences. It was all-out pressure, so as Gary Kubiak used to tell me, ball's got to go. It's got to go somewhere quickly. And I had Bijan on a double move on my left, and then had Mooney on my right, and then had Kyle on a shallow cross. All three have potential there versus man coverage. All three need to win quickly, and I just felt best about drifting right and trying to work Mooney, knowing the ball had to be out quick, and he made me right.
At what point in that play do you know it's the right decision, and you're?
I think the ball was maybe 2/3 of the way there, and I thought he's pretty open. This has potential. And then he had to catch it and he had to finish, but that was a good feeling.
Yeah, sorry, just one quick thing. You guys have converted a lot of fourth downs over the course of the first half of this season. Raheem said that a big part of that is because of the competitive edge that you bring and the aggressive way that you play. And I'm curious from your perspective, maybe why you think that is and why these fourth downs are mattering so much for you guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish we'd do it on third down or second and first, so it doesn't have to come down to fourth down. But certainly your head coach has to be willing to put that out there and be aggressive and go for it. And that's a challenge for many times to make that call. But he's been consistent in how he wants to approach it. And then Zach has to be very quick thinking to react in the moment. Okay, we are going to go for it. What do I like in such a critical situation? And so a lot of credit goes to Zach as far as what he's dialing up quickly on these fourth downs. And then, you're going to get people's best rush. So protection has been holding up. Going to get tight coverage. Guys have been separating and winning. So it kind of all adds up to production. But I go back to what I've said so many times. I just try to be the point guard distributor, and so many other pieces have to, step up too, coaches and players. And when they do, that's when it gets really fun to be that distributor. Okay, thank you.